What adult movie disturbed you as a child? The Exorcist. When she crawled down the steps doing a back bridge, that haunted me for a bit. Hell, I don't like that part now. Edit, F and autocorrect. When I was 10 or 11 I somehow came upon 120 Days of Sodom, an Italian film wherein 4 libertines in fascist Italy kidnap a group of teenagers and then subject them to progressively sadistic physical and mental and sexual torture. There are entire scenes of children being whipped and brutalized and forced to eat shit and crawl around on broken glass like dogs. The scenes of torture are interspersed with scenes of the torturers giggling and dancing and making silly faces at their terrified victims. There are also scenes of old prostitutes recounting warped tales of sexual depravity from their past. The movie culminated in a mass torture scene where dozens of teenagers are tied to posts in a courtyard and tortured in every conceivable way, including having their sensitive parts burned and their eyes gouged. While this is taking place, one of the torturers is watching it all commence through binoculars through a distant window. For no reason at all. I was so traumatized by it that I cried for hours afterward. In my hysteria I told my parents about what I had seen, and they worried that I had inadvertently stumbled upon a snuff film. They panicked and then eventually discovered that it was a legitimate feature film that had been defended by Martin Scorsese among others. I had nightmares for months after. It's still with me. Still a source of trauma. It still sits in the pit of my stomach and exerts an agonizing pressure whenever I think of it. Tremors. Apparently I screamed or cried so much in the theater that the lady in front of us went and bought me a popcorn and drink to console me, or shut me up. I'm more disturbed by children's movies as an adult I think. But, I very much disliked both The Wizard of Oz and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, just found something really creepy about them. The Road. The cannibal scene where the boy and his dad go down and see them all down there. And when the dad dies at the end and the son just has to leave him there. Gave me some chills. Goosebumps. The old TV show. The episode with the ghost. I was 3 or 4. Would not be alone in a room in my house with the lights on for a week. My mother got very annoyed after a while. My parents let me watch IT with them when it premiered on TV. I was 5. The scene where the photograph comes to life and Pennywise literally roars and then comes running toward the Losers Club to tell them he's going to kill them scarred me for life. I can remember screaming and my parents laughing because they thought it was so funny that I was so scared. I've seen the move several times since and while it is near and dear to my heart it is a big corn fest. That scene still creeps me out. And I developed a lifelong fear of clowns. War of the Worlds, the one with Tom Cruise in it. I was sneaking to watch a movie in the hallway and my parents caught me, so as a punishment they had me sat down in front of the screen. In a result, I had nightmares for about a week. What's that movie where the kid is born with a deformity and so the mom attacks people picking on him and gets put in a mental institution? They force the kid to perform with clowns. Then one night the little kid gets drunk and hallucinates and wakes up with some kindly black folk. After that he gets his revenge on the clowns by shooting them and setting them on fire. Oh yeah, Dumbo. It was a kids show from the 70s called HR Pufnstuf. Kids must have loved it back in the day but Jesus Christ, that shit traumatized me as a kid in the 90s. Witchy Boo, the antagonist, looked like possessed Regan from The Exorcist mixed with the Wicked Witch of the West. Not to mention this character named West Wind, a cowboy face in the sky that was supposed to look and sound like John Wayne but more like a sky demon. That show still makes me incredibly uncomfortable. You can see both characters here. I'm not responsible for your nightmares.